in terms of medical stuff, let's go to therapist. It's going to really be about medical supplies and how to utilize medical supplies. What does what heals what, how to bind them to certain keys and such. So if you go to therapist, you are going to see that she has a lot of medical supplies. Here's where you want to go if you are confused on how to earn or purchase medical supplies. You can also pick them up off of scavs, off of PMCs as well. So this doesn't really represent early game just because of the fact that I have a ton of money right now where I'm always going to buy the best of the best in terms of medical supplies. I'm never going to go with things like the regular green bandages with two uses and such. But we're going to put this here. We're going to put the other bandage on top, and that way we can kind of decipher what's what. I do have a Celoa somewhere that I bought, so we'll move the car kit, the Celoa down as well. The cheese, I call that cheese for sure because it does look like cheese. So you can't tell me different. That shit does not look like cheese. So we're going to put them right here. And we'll put this here. Okay. So here, most, if not all the medical supplies. I'm going to cover what does what, when you should use what. And then we'll kind of go from there. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to write anything in the comments section, and I'll gladly address that. So here's the first thing that you'll usually get as you spawn in as a scav. It's just a septic bandage. You would use this if you have the icon above your name that shows a blood droplet. That means that you're actively bleeding and you're bleeding out. So if you take a look here, you can use this in about 2 seconds or so. I would say the whole animation takes about 2 or 3 seconds. This does stop blood loss as well. So this is really the only reason why you would use this. You wouldn't use this to heal. It's only if you're bleeding. The same goes with the army bandage. The army bandage does give you 2 usage out of it. So in the very beginning of the game, you probably want to take a couple of these, just because these are pretty good in terms of stopping blood loss. Again, these are the only things that they do. So anytime that you get hit with a bullet, or if you get hit, you heal, and then you start to run, there's a possibility of you breaking that wound back open again. So you would definitely want to use this as a healing resource. The AI2 medkits, the purpose of this is that this does not heal any blood loss or any open wounds. This just heals your health. So this is also good for, you do want to use a combination of the bandage and the AI2 in the very beginning. So these two would almost be pretty much like brother and sister. You would use this to heal the wounds, and you'd use this to heal your health. This comes with 100 HP, so you would probably want to take a couple of these if you know that you're going to be getting into any kind of a decent firefight and such. Especially in the very beginning, you may only have to do pistol runs. You may only have weapons that you have off of scavs, so you'll only be able to afford these depending on how often that you upgrade your hideout. But then we're going to move on to the other things. These do heal. So this is the only piece of medical equipment that does not actually cover blood loss, that gives you health back. These two heals blood loss. This will only heal your health HP, and these do both. So you have the car med kit. It comes with 220 health points. It stops the blood loss. It takes 40 HP from this to stop blood loss. So anything below 40 HP, if you have a car med kit with 35 HP or 39 HP, it's actually not going to stop the blood loss. You have to have at least 40 HP to do so. That's one of those things when I first started, I didn't know. I knew this stopped blood loss, but I didn't know that you actually needed 40 HP ticks from it in order to stop it. So I would use it with like 30, 20, and wonder why I was still bleeding. So you definitely need to make sure that you check out and you read what each item does, because this will clearly tell you what its purpose is. So car med kit upgrades to the, I call it Celoa, although people call it Celewas, which is probably right. I don't know how to say it, I'm guessing. But you only need 30 HP on this to stop your bleeding. So this comes with 400 HP. It takes about 3 seconds to use each tick of this. As you hit the button, it's typically going to be about 3 seconds to heal that limb. Now, how it works necessarily in terms of your body, now I know my face is over the legs, but you have health on pretty much all parts of your body. Your head has 35, your throat or your thorax has 80, your stomach has 70, arms have 60, and legs have 65. So let's just say that you just got hit and a bunch of your body parts are blacked out, or not really blacked out, but you are missing HP points from them. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to heal the most damaged part first, which, let's just say if you have 20 out of 70 here on your stomach, you have 30 out of 60 on your left arm. I believe it goes to your stomach first. I don't know for sure, but that's generally how that would work. The quickest way that a lot of people do not know in the very beginning is if you equip this to your rig or your pockets, which let me pull open an IFAK really quick, because this is the only thing I don't have here. IFAKs would go here anyways. So let's just say your IFAK is here, and you have any other medical supply here. You can bind these keys, because 1, 2, and 3, 1 is going to be a pistol, 2 is your primary, and 3 is going to be your primary, secondary, or whatever's in that third slot, which would be, again, you can't see because my fat face is in the way, but on the back. In the sling, it's 2. On the back is 3. But you can bind these to any keys, I think 4 through 8 or 9. So let's just say you're in combat right now, and you have this bound to 4. Instead of having to open up your menu and hit use or heal, right, it's going to automatically, as you hit the 4 number, or number 4, it's going to heal you. So it's key to keep that in mind. A lot of people that are new to the game do not know that, and they have to open their menu every time, hit right click and heal, when as you're actively in a gunfight, you can hide in a bush, hide around a corner, hit 4, 5, 6, whatever it is that you have your heals bound to, and that'll heal you. So that's key to remember. And then you come to broken bones and pain. So you have any broken bones, you would need splints to successfully heal that, or I will show you another device at the very end that can also heal broken bones. So you have an immobilizing splint. This is a one-time use splint. Cheapest way to own splints. If you lose one of these, not a huge deal. They're very cheap at Therapist. The Immobilizing Splint 2, which has 5 HPs, or 5 uses out of them, 5 charges people call them. You can use these up to 5 times, of course. And each takes about 3 seconds. This takes about 3 seconds on this one. This says it takes 5, where these splints kind of wrap around him, and that's it. He just wraps it up, and that's it. This, he actually unlocks it and then ties it back in. So as you can tell, these remove any fracture. So legs, as you're healing a leg with a splint, you cannot actively move, although if you're healing an, either arm, you could as well. You can only break arms and legs. You can't break any other thing. You can't break a thorax, obviously, a stomach, or a head. So I carry these around inside my gamma container on occasion. Key to remember that these are the only 2 things other than the Survival 12 kit, and I'll get to this kit here in just a bit, that could actually heal fractures. So now you have the pain reducers. These you would use if you don't have any splints or any Survival 12 kits. You would use these, heal any broken bones. Augmentin, and if I'm not mistaken, if you take anything that gives you like euphoria, I guess it's considered. Like if you look at your head, it'll have this euphoria effect. I believe if you take these, it removes the effect. That's what the toxication is here. If you look on the bottom right, it does say remove toxication. With that being said, use this and that will remove that status effect. This also reduces pain up to 200 seconds, not 20 seconds, up to 200 seconds. Ibuprofen does it for up to 500 seconds. This also decreases your hydration by 5 each time you take it. We'll get into hydration here in just a bit. I'll show you what you can use for hydrating. You have many options in terms of that. I won't cover all of them. I'll only cover the basics that you'll generally find around the world. Also, if you get a contusion, or if you get your head is concussed, if you get hit with a bullet in your head, if you're wearing a helmet on, this will give you a contusion or a concussion. So this, if I'm not mistaken, will remove that effect from you almost immediately. It takes a couple seconds for the concussion to wear off, but that will work for that. Also, you have painkillers and morphine. So the biggest differences between these are the time it lasts. So painkillers last for up to 170 seconds. It only takes about 3 seconds to use. You do have 4 usage per packets. It decreases your hydration per usage by 7, where the morphine injector decreases it by 10 seconds, or 10 ticks, and it's 2 seconds of use time. So it ups your energy also by +10. So let's just say you're down on energy, but you are hydrated still. You can use this injector even outside of pain, and it will give you energy back. But the good thing is it lasts pretty much the longest out of all of the painkillers, 380 seconds. You would have a good couple minutes on a morphine injector to get out if you have any broken legs. Mainly you would use any injectors and any painkillers if you have a bone that's broken. With a broken bone, you will have a pain effect that'll blur your vision. So this will clear your vision for the amount of the duration. So that's pretty much the sum of all of these. These two kits here, you have Cms Kit, which you can also find around the world as well as buy. What this does is if your limb is completely blacked out, if you have 0, minus your head and your thorax, you cannot heal. You used to be able to, I think, in the very beginning, but I think they changed it on the fly. You cannot heal your head or your thorax if it's zeroed out. You would think if your head is zeroed, you'd be dead, but if you're wearing a helmet, I believe you can go all the way out to 0, especially if you bleed out. If you have 1 HP and you bleed out, if you're actively bleeding, you can zero your head, and he just makes a constant huffing and puffing noise if these 3 are actually blacked. So in terms of the kit here, you have 5 charges on this, and you have 15 charges on this. So it takes about 16 seconds on the Cms Kit to heal a blacked out limb. You have the survival kit, takes about 20 seconds. So you want to hide in cover. You want to make sure that you're out of combat, or if you're with a teammate, that you have a teammate that's covering you actively, because you're going to be immobilized for about 20 seconds. You can cancel the animation, but just know it doesn't directly cancel it right away. There is an animation to cancel the animation, right? So let's just say you're inside the survival kit. He actually has to latch it back up and close it. So once you start using that, man, if you're not covered, or if you have a person around you that hears it, just know that it takes a good 5 seconds to cancel the animation. Canceling any animation with any of the heals, you just have to press the shoot or the mouse 1 button in, and it'll cancel. So that's pretty much it in terms of medical supplies and heals. We'll cover a little bit of what food does and how food and energy as well as hydration is important in this patch. Point 12 did bring. You used to be able to use this stuff outside of that, but it wasn't as important as it is now, because once you leave a raid, prior to point 12, you used to be fully healed with 100% hydration, 100% energy, which means you never really needed to use any of these resources unless you're actively in raid for an extended period of time. So just to give you, I'm only going to give you 2 examples. So you got an MRE, you have a Tashanka. These are energy sources here, and these are food sources. So I'll kind of cover these 2 as well with you. You do have the liquid right now, and I'll kind of discuss what all this stuff does as well, because you do have a couple of liquids that will give you energy back. So right now, you have something that looks like Aquafina almost. Will give you 55 hydration if you use it to the max, although it only comes with 40 ticks, or actually 60 ticks. So inside the 60 ticks, it'll only give you 55 hydration based on that. Once you start upgrading your hideout, if I'm not mistaken, this will actually increase these. But once your hydration level, it's a very small icon down on the bottom left of your screen. It's a little water droplet. You can choose to use either all, or you can choose the amount. So let's just say you're at 20 out of 100. You generally are going to want to use the whole thing. But if you're 80 out of 100, you don't want to use all, because you'll waste 20 ticks or 30 ticks, whatever it is, 40 ticks of this. The Army Pineapple Juice, kind of the same thing, but it gives you +8 energy, and it will help you recover energy over time. And it only gives you 30 hydration as well. So not as good as the water is, but it also gives you energy on top of it. So if you find these around the world, again, there's a bunch of variations of liquids. You don't necessarily have to find water or pineapple juice. There's a bunch of different variations. Please feel free to inspect any of these icons. Once you come to terms of them, once you pick them up, once you inspect them, you do want to make sure that you are observing what each one of them does, because that'll be very important to add into your knowledge bank. Instead of just blindly using these things and not knowing exactly what they do. The one thing about this game that I've kind of realized is take your time learning what everything does. Don't just use them, and don't just say, oh, hey, it's liquid, use this, because there will be certain situations that you can dehydrate yourself with food And I'll kind of give you a prime example here coming up in 2 seconds. So 1, 2, here we are. Hydration with food. So you have this can of beef stew, just one of the many other items as well. Keep in mind there's a bunch of different health items. There's lunch boxes. There's a whole bunch of different stuff. There's crackers. I think there's about a good dozen or 2 items that you can heal your energy as well as heal your hydration. So this here, the can of beef stew, will take away 5 ticks of your hydration. I guess because of the sodium levels, I'm guessing, inside of beef stew. I guess that's what would dehydrate you, is sodium. But it has nothing to do with that in this game. I'm just thinking logically. But this will give you plus 45 energy. Animation's pretty cool. He will crack the can open and actually eat out of it. Use time is around 5 seconds or so, which is not bad. But you do not want to lose energy all the way to 0, because your vision will start to kind of tunnel a little bit almost. So a lot of people carry things in with them. They keep these in their gamma if they know they're going to have really long raids. And the MRE, these are really, really good because this gives you pretty much most of your energy back. This is meatballs and marinara sauce. Yummy. You can use this here. This will give you plus 70 energy. And if I'm not mistaken, it also gives you plus 0.1 over time for up to 30 seconds. So that's pretty cool. It constantly is giving you energy over time for up to 300 seconds, which I believe it'll max you out. If you use this out of raid, I believe it actually gives you 100%. In raid, though, it will over time give you an increase. Outside of raid is an instant. So that pretty much covers all of the health benefits, all of the health equipment, what each health equipment does, how to use them properly, as well as what situations that you would want to use them in, because you're not going to use a bandage if you're not bleeding, as well as you're not going to use any kind of a painkiller unless you have a broken bone that you cannot heal with a splint. So keep that in mind. As well as the energy, the food. I'm just giving you 2 small examples of this stuff. So if you have any questions, please hit the comment section below. I appreciate you guys for watching. Until next time, baby.